where I kind of had a lot of my trial and errors, that they centered around these three repeating scenarios. The first one is that higher yielding instruments like MLPs and REITs are no longer protected in downturns due to market algorithms that take down the entire market. Basically, when the market goes down, the whole market goes down. It's no longer just, oh, this part of the market is going down. But the way that it works is because of these ETFs and these index funds and everything like that, it's kind of like a zero-sum game. If it's going down, everything is going down. The second repeating scenario is a blue chip stocks dividend comes into question by a well-regarded analyst. What follows is a vicious cat and mouse game that only hurts the shareholder. DE is a great example of this. Their stock price was around the 20s and 30s. They had a pretty healthy 4 or 5% dividend yield. And then what ended up happening is a prominent analyst came in, they questioned the cash flow. Management denied it. It went back and forth. Long story short, the cash flow was a real issue. There was a management change, and GE, as you can see here, GE went through a vicious cycle, and then they ended up basically cutting their dividends down to basically 1 penny. And at that point, almost getting rid of it. And the stock investor was basically trapped in the stock once those allegations were made, because the dips were so severe that they would have had to take a real haircut just to get out of the deal. So that was an example, and this kind of example happens all the time because you have so many analysts covering these stocks, and just generally that the cash flow statements weren't as healthy as they made it out to be. Lastly, a well-regarded dividend stock begins overpaying for assets that are in high growth markets. A great example of this is AT&T. One of the kings of telecom. They start buying Dish, they start buying HBO. What's ended up happening is that reliable yield kind of goes to the wayside. A funny little story on AT&T. I owned it for 3-4 years. Every year they paid out 8%. Every year the stock was down 8%. So after 4 years, I broke even for 4 years and never really saw that imaginary 8% yield. So basically, we are in a new era of investing in the stock market where prices fluctuate based on sweeps and algorithms. So how do you rely on a market like that for cash flow? And the truth is you can't. So what is the problem with traditional investments? Liquidity leads to volatility, and volatility destroys yield. That's kind of my thesis of half my book when I wrote it, is basically that one statement. Is basically you can never create reliable cash flow if there's liquidity there. So that same liquidity that is a pro, if you're 100%, if your portfolio is 100% in that liquidity, liquid asset, then you're going to be always in trouble when it comes to cash flow. And the chart on the right is actually a great example. This is VNQ. This is the REIT fund, Vanguard REIT fund. And you can see during COVID, it went down just as much as the regular market did. There was no descent whatsoever during that time period. So even a well-diversified portfolio of MLPs, REITs, utilities, and blue chip pairs can't escape this pattern. I tried. I failed on every single one of those. So traditional investments, the bottom line is they will never turn in predictable cash flow.